The Indiana Fever just made one of the wildest moves in WNBA history, firing an assistant coach after she physically yanked Caitlin Clark off the sideline during a blowout game.
By the double standard, fire her. Damn, fire her.
What looked like a simple sideline scuffle has exploded into a league-wide scandal, exposing months of behind-the-scenes tension and a concerted effort to silence the most electrifying star in women's basketball. Stick around because the real story isn't just about one grab. It's about a franchise determined to reshape its biggest asset into something she's not. On June 12th, during a nationally televised contest against the Connecticut Sun, the Fever held a commanding 20-point advantage in front of a sold-out crowd of 14,234 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Midway through the third quarter, Caitlin Clark stepped behind the arc and drained a perfectly executed step-back three over J.C. Sheldon. The arena erupted. Fans leapt to their feet, voices echoing off the rafters as the scoreboard flashed Clark's trademark grin.
For the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin.
Instead of the usual high five from her bench, Clark was met with a startling grab. An assistant coach, unnerved by her unrestrained celebration, reached out and yanked her by the elbow, pulling her off the court before she could complete her bench ritual.
One of the assistant coaches chasing Caitlin Clark down as she's riling up the crowd, and it seems like she's getting scolded, reprimanded.
The camera caught every angle. Clark's eyes widened in disbelief, her teammates freezing mid-cheer, and the coach's grip tightening as security staff looked on helplessly. Within minutes, video clips surged across TikTok and X, generating over 2 million views and 50,000 comments in the first 24 hours. Hashtags like #HandsOffClark and FeverFail trended regionally, while sports commentators on ESPN replayed the incident relentlessly, debating the motive and the message. Was it strict discipline or control tactics gone too far? That single act didn't just shock viewers, it ignited a firestorm that would unravel the Fever's entire season. In the 4 games following that sideline incident, it was as if someone flipped a switch on Clark's approach. Her field goal attempts plunged from an average of 18.5 per game to just 13.0, a 30% decline, while her minutes dipped erratically, dropping below 30 for the first time all season in back-to-back outings. Gone were the signature fist pumps and chest bumps. Instead, she walked to the bench with her head down, barely acknowledging the crowd. During a May 20th rematch with the Minnesota Lynx, Clark logged just 28 minutes and attempted only 11 shots, despite the Fever trailing by single digits in the fourth quarter. In the subsequent game against Chicago, she played 26 minutes, her lowest of the season, and looked visibly hesitant when the ball found her hands in the corner. Pundits on national broadcasts noted the stark contrast. Former WNBA All-Star Candace Parker remarked, "That's not the Caitlin we know. She thrives on that energy." ESPN analyst Chiny Aguamike echoed the sentiment, pointing out, "Emotion is her greatest weapon. Without it, she's just another playmaker." Even Fever Pitch fans felt the shift, tweeting that the spark was gone and that Clark looked like she was on autopilot. When your brand is built on unfiltered passion, stripping away that fire isn't just a tactical tweak. It's a full-court press on your identity. And in Indianapolis, the clampdown on Clark's emotion revealed itself as more than coincidence. It was a deliberate strategy with consequences that rippled far beyond those 4 quiet performances. This wasn't a one-off coaching blunder. It was the culmination of a deliberate strategy. Under Lisa Bluter at Iowa, Clark's unchecked intensity was the core of a 31-win season, with Bluter encouraging her to bring the house down each time she touched the ball. In Indianapolis, however, front office memos leaked this spring reveal a different mandate: clean up the celebration, no more theatrics, and keep Caitlin on a shorter leash in tight games. Coaches were reportedly instructed to limit her isolation plays by 25%, replacing them with prescribed motion sets that capped her touches to less than 28% usage rate per quarter, down from a rookie peak of 35%. Team meetings emphasized brand consistency over emotional leadership, with staff reviewing highlight reel clips and marking any overzealous reactions for correction. The result was a sanitized version of Clark. Predictable, cautious, and devoid of the spark that made her a phenomenon. Practices shifted from open-court scrimmages to rigid half-court drills, and video sessions were peppered with reminders to tone it down, before replays of her famous sideline celebrations were paused and critiqued. Rather than amplifying her strengths, this control campaign stifled them. Clark's instinctive playmaking was replaced by scripted patterns, her crowd-fueling antics traded for muted head nods. The Fever tried to sell a polished product, but instead they clipped the very wings that drew fans in. And when you attempt to sanitize the league's brightest star, all you end up with is a dimmed spotlight and a franchise left wondering where the magic went. Just when it seemed the Fever's front office clampdown was the height of enforcement, the referees stepped in to enforce their own brand of control. In that same June 12th Connecticut game, cameras captured a Sun defender poking Clark directly in the eye as she drove to the rim. No whistle, no review, no explanation. Moments later, Clark was shoved to the hardwood by an opposing forward on a fast break. Yet the flagrant one call was waved off, leaving her writhing on the court without recourse. According to league statistics, Clark has been on the receiving end of 5 clear flagrant or technical foul-worthy plays this season, eye jabs, clotheslines, and elbow checks, yet only 1 was officially flagged. In contrast, she's drawn 3 technical fouls herself, 2 for animated gestures toward the crowd and 1 for what officials described as inappropriate language, despite those reactions being consistent with standard energy displays across men's basketball. Even more unsettling, multiple sources within the officiating community claim that referees privately warned Clark she could be assessed a technical for her trademark hyping the crowd routine, hand claps, chest thumps, and taunts that would be cheered in any other setting. Imagine the league's most electrifying star being threatened for doing exactly what made fans show up. This double standard sent a clear message. Clark's personality was unwelcome. Her emotional expression was a liability, not an asset. But rather than deflate her following, it only galvanized the fan base. Social feeds exploded with the hashtags #LetHerPlay and #RefBias, and fellow players spoke out, demanding accountability and equal treatment. When the referees tried to mute her on-court voice, they inadvertently amplified it off the court, and the WNBA, for once, couldn't look away. By June 15th, just 3 days after the clip went viral, the Fever announced the assistant coach's dismissal for differences in direction. But beneath that neutral statement lay a storm of backlash. Within 24 hours, the team's front office inbox was flooded with over 50,000 emails and DMs demanding accountability, and the hashtag #HandsOffClark trended nationally on X. Major sponsors, including a regional sportswear partner and a local bank, paused their upcoming in-arena promotions pending clarity on the coach's status, citing concerns over player welfare and brand alignment. National sports media tore into the move, with ESPN's Stephen A. Smith calling it a disgrace, and Sports Illustrated running a feature titled "When Protecting a Star Becomes a War." Former NBA players joined the chorus. One veteran tweeted, "You don't fire someone for direction, you fire them for assault," while another posted a video analysis dismantling the organization's claim of a simple coaching disagreement. The firing wasn't just corrective action, it was a watershed moment. Fans saw it as proof that their collective voice could move the needle, and sponsors realized that silencing outrage was more important than preserving image. Yet changing one face on the sidelines doesn't uproot the systemic mindset that tried to tame Clark's spirit. The real reckoning lies ahead, whether the Fever will overhaul their culture or merely replace a scapegoat and repeat the same mistakes. Here's the bottom line. You can't draft Caitlin Clark for her unfiltered passion, only to muzzle her at the first sign of spectacle. Clark's emotional fire has driven a 200% spike in Instagram engagement for the Fever this season and helped boost league-wide ratings by 45% whenever she's on national TV. When she's allowed to play freely, with chest bumps, taunts, and full-court sprints, attendance surges by an average of 12% at home games. Suppressing that energy isn't just tone deaf, it's bad business. The WNBA's growth hinges on stars who authentically connect with fans, not on polished avatars playing by committee. Clark embodies the future of women's basketball, a force of nature who brings new viewers, new sponsors, and fresh excitement every time she steps on the court. If the Fever and the league want to capitalize on that momentum, they must stop trying to reshape her into a cookie-cutter athlete and start unleashing the raw charisma that made her a phenomenon.